Hey, everyone.
Hey, Terry.
Hmm. I gotta get all my cords out of the way here. Yeah, that's better. Let's see, who do we have? We have Andrew, you, me, Joel, Ben. Do we see? Is Joel on? There's Joel. Hey, Joel.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I just got in. Big traffic jam, but I'm here. I'm here for the whole meeting. Good.
Hey, excellent, excellent. Okay, I think, Michael, if you want to, it's recording. Are you ready for me to begin?
Yes, recording, Madam Chair.
Okay.
You can start the meeting.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Tucson-Pima County Historical Commission Plans Review Subcommittee meeting of Thursday, March 13th, 2025, called to order at 1:01 p.m. And I'll go ahead and do roll call. Gary Majewski is here. Savannah McDonald.
Here.
Joel Ireland. Joel, you here? Joel. I'll come back to him.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm here. I apologize. I'm here.
Okay, Andrew Christopher.
Here.
Thank you. And if folks have background noise, could you mute when you're not speaking, please? Okay, item 2 is review and approval of the February 13th, 2025 legal action report and meeting minutes. Could
Madam
I
Chair,
have a motion to approve it? Oh, I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, I think there is a typo right there. It should have been 0327, I believe. So we can do the approval and just note it as a correction to the date instead of 0227. It should be 03.
02.
Oh,
02.
2. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so all right. So we
So
are
it should 0227, not 0213. Sorry.
Okay, so it should be the 27th of February.
Yes,
Okay,
Madam Chair.
So I guess when we make a motion, we have to say that there was a typo in the agenda, so we're really approving the 2/27/2025 legal action report and meeting minutes as submitted. Would someone like to do that, please?
Yes, I'll do it. This is Joel. I move approval of the minutes, but we need to correct a Scrivener's error. We're approving the minutes of 2/27/25.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, is there any discussion on those minutes and legal action report? Okay, if not, I'll call roll. Terry says aye. Savannah?
Aye.
Joel?
Yes.
And Andrew?
Aye.
Great, thank you. It's approved 4-0 unanimously. And then our next item is item 3, Historic Preservation Zone Review Cases. We review these under UDC section 5.8/TSM 9-02.0/Historic District Design Guidelines and the revised Secretary of the Interior Standards and Guidelines. Case 3A, or do you need to go ahead and recuse, Savannah, from both 3A and 3B?
I do. It's my project. So can you just text me when you're done and I'll jump back on?
What I'll do is I'll say you recuse at 1:04 p.m. and then other PRS members, please remind me if I don't remember to text Savannah. Thank you very much, Savannah. We'll see you when you get back. We appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, case 3A is SD 1024-00100 at 800 North Country Club. This is for the Benedictine Monastery La Rosa, the chapel modifications, relocation of doors, modifying The previously PRS approved chapel work. It's a full review in the Sam Hughes National Historic District. It's a historic landmark, and a PAD case. It's a contributing resource, and we use the rehabilitation standards. So, Michael, do you have any background on this?
Yes, Madam Chair. This particular project, these two projects, which are now separated into two, initially came to Plans Review Subcommittee as a courtesy review, and that first meeting was September 12, 2024. Charles presented to you as a courtesy review on September 12. Subsequently, the project again came to you as a full review at the meeting of October 10, 2024. When you reviewed it at that time, it was recommended for approval, and I didn't send out that earlier, but there were conditions that were attached to that, which was the new west side by entrance door shall have horizontal and vertical mullions to align and match the existing adjacent windows. The courtyard landscape plan shall be developed and brought back for a minor review. The roof materials are acceptable as presented and shall be neutral color if a ballistic system is used, or a red color to complement the existing tile roof if a metal or TPO system is used. And 4, that the existing rear yard railing that is to remain shall be shown on the plans. That was what was reviewed at that time. Basically, the whole review, this was for the chapel. So what they are here today before you, unfortunately, these documents that are submitted is like 40 pages, but they are basically here for what could have been a minor review on the chapel, which are trying to change the door to a window and some other minor modification that they are doing. I believe, as far as I understand it, that is where we are here today. If it is different, Charles, you can feel free to go ahead, and I will make you the co-host so you can share this. And if there's any question for me, I'll be more than willing to answer before Charles can start with this presentation.
Okay, go ahead, Charles.
All right, very good. I think I just got the co-host capability here. Can you guys see my screen?
I can.
Great. Well, it's really good to see you guys again. Thanks for having me for these couple of projects. Always a joy to present to you guys and share our projects. We truly appreciate the review. There are going to be two projects here, and for now, they're on the same campus. For now, all that we're going to be talking about is a minor modification to the plans that we previously reviewed, as Michael stated, for the chapel piece. And so what we're looking at here is the previous set. I guess I have a one-pager here that I can sort of scan around on that describes everything pretty quick and easily for us, or I can give a little bit of the past history on the project. And so I guess I would just be curious if anyone would be interested in sort of a greater level of detail, or if I should just sort of dive in right here.
I'm okay with diving in. What about the rest of you?
I agree. I think it's still pretty fresh for all of us. So,
minor review is fine for this one. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay,
Charles,
great.
we can ask you questions. If we need more detail, we'll ask you.
Got it. And I can pop right over to the other one and we can look at what we looked at before. So I'll go ahead and just dive straight in. So after we completed our egress study for the building, and this building has considerable need for that, as the chapel space itself will be hosting up to 650 people. There's a significant egress requirement, and it turned out that we weren't able to meet the width at the exit that we have here. And so the previous version of the plans that we reviewed had only one of these windows converted to a door here at this facade. And we are now proposing to do the exact same treatment with the exact same spacing of mullions to match over to that existing window that is to remain. So now there are two of those. They are exactly the same as each other. They are side by side. They're the same treatment that we looked at previously. And then, so just for reference, here is a photo of the interior of the room here. And so what we are proposing is that we will be just removing this masonry beneath the windows, and we will be converting them into a door that is that same width. So maybe I'll pause there and just ask if there's any question. I think two other items I would like to discuss related to this project here and see if anyone has any commentary on that, or I can just go ahead and we can take questions at the end.
I'm good. Everybody else okay for him to move forward?
Yep. I'm
Yep.
good.
Great, okay. And Joel gave you the
Alrighty.
thumbs up. Go ahead.
Okay, so similarly, what we were proposing previously was that we were going to be enlarging this door here so that it could be used to load large equipment in through this sort of back of house stair. And the owner has determined that they do not have a requirement to move that large material through this door. And so we are now proposing to do nothing to this door other than to sort of repair it in kind. It is a half-light door. I thought I had a picture of that. Perhaps not. I think it's actually in the other one. I can go over and zoom over to that, but it's a half-light door that we'll be just repairing. It's an existing door that will remain here in lieu of new, saw cutting a large opening and putting a double door at that location. Okay, and then in this same area, the ownership has determined that the current configuration of this door here, and so just for a little bit of reference, there's a bar over here that's getting installed in this existing courtyard, and then the people who operate the bar occasionally need to go to this room right here. And so there's a need in non-emergency conditions to go in and out of this door. And this is the up portion of the stair. And they were worried that somebody's going to open this door just at the moment that somebody's walking up here and they're going to lose some teeth or sustain injury as a result of the proximity of the door to the landing. And so it would be their preference to really do the same thing that we're looking at over on the west side of the building at this location here inside the courtyard. And then so for reference, here is a picture of that condition here in this interior courtyard. This is not visible from outside of the parcel via any vista. And so this is the location that we are proposing to do that same strategy. And then this would be the door, and it'll be exactly the same as the doors that we're looking at over on the west side, which is a custom steel door that will have a profiling and detailing similar to the existing window that's in place. I will note here, as we identified before, there is a grade difference here. And so in the previous version, we were proposing a ramp to get up to this door. The ramp is just configured slightly differently so that now instead of connecting to this door is now effectively abandoned in place, but we are sort of maintaining the historic concrete component of the landing here, sort of casting around that and preserving that, as well as similarly around this column, is that we'll provide this new 2 steps up here, and then the ramp that comes down this way so that they can provide an accessible route into this rear space. And that's it, actually, for our proposal here today.
All right, who wants to start with questions?
I can start, since I reviewed these when they were maybe going to be a minor review. The new ramp here, it looks like
Yes.
that's gonna conflict with one of those columns in the colonnade. What are you planning to do there? Are you just gonna kind of pour concrete around the base? Or are you gonna try and adjust the base up? Or what's the...
Yeah, my thought for both of these elements is actually to attempt to preserve them in place and to essentially consider the ramp to be reversible. which would mean that we're going to provide a compressible material around the base detailing of the column for when we cast that concrete, and sort of a release membrane at that location so that could be removed at a time in the future. I think that moving the base detailing up, let me see, I think we can sort of catch a little bit of that here. So the ramp is going to be high enough that we'll be into the primary segment of that, and this will all just be sort of concealed and, in theory, restorable at a future date.
Okay. So you're gonna do like an expansion joint and some sort of membrane there.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. That was it.
Oh, great.
Okay, Joel?
No, he answered my question before about it was about how we're going to get in that door. You know, a ramp, obviously, and 2 steps.
Okay, and do we feel comfortable that all of the conditions we put on when we discussed it previously were met?
Yeah, you're gonna do the same door that you're doing in the other spots, right, Charles?
Yes, correct. It'll be exactly the same door. I will add that we have added, so you can see here, this is sort of a version of our new plan, that we have added this gate material here, and it also shows up. I could pull the main plans up if that would be useful here, but we do now sort of show that these are to remain. And I can note that we have sort of reduced the amount of landscaping that is going forward in the plan set. And so there's not at this time going to be any irrigation that will be shown in this area. And so the plans are actually, as shown, depict the amount of plantings that will be in the area sort of per owner direction. So
Can you point out is there any planting or is it all just
No.
DG? No.
it'll be a mixture of DG and paver. So the area here that is just sort of white is this is paver, and then a concrete strip here, and then stabilized DG on the other side of that, which is effectively exactly what we had before. I think that we just sort of had a inkling of a landscape plan that wasn't developed, and that has sort of ended up just not moving forward effectively.
Okay. I think I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, Joel or Terry, when we initially reviewed this, there was some landscape in here a long
Yes.
time ago, and it died at some point, like during or before construction. And I think we had talked about, these courtyard spaces being important to the character of the building and them having at least some vegetation or trees. So I'm a little concerned by that, but I don't know how the rest of you guys feel. It seems very stark.
I can give a little bit of background information on that, just sort of as to where we're currently with that, which is that if appropriate, I can also let others answer now if that'd
Let's
be
just
useful.
see if Joel, did you have the same concern?
Well, I do, and now that Andrew's brought it up, I do remember. And what my vague memories is that we saw a dead citrus tree. Was that right, Andrew, or what?
I think there was some citrus in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And I agree with
Go ahead.
Andrew on this. Yeah.
So,
I did too.
Madam Chair, if I may read condition number 2, they said the courtyard landscape plan shall be developed and brought back for a minor review. I think
Okay.
that's what Andrew is referring to. So a minor review was supposed or would have to be undertaken for the landscape. I believe that's what Andrew is referencing here.
Okay.
Yeah. And go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Charles.
Sure. And so I think that we ran into sort of a timing and let's call it instrument problem, whereby we had shown the degree of landscaping that we wanted in this area, which were primarily planters that were going to be developed sort of in this zone here. But the challenges that we had in approved development package. And so the ownership does want to have plantings in this area. And so I think I would agree that the original condition, I think, can still be met, and that our intent is to, in the future, as part of this project, to come in and do a revision to that development package so that we can add that stuff back in. And so I guess I would hope that maybe we could maintain that condition so that we can then have the opportunity to come back and do that at that point. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And that's what I was going to suggest. So, if we're ready, I mean, Andrew, you could make a motion and include that and whatever else you'd like to include.
Yeah. I'm just typing it up, so I'll have it ready in just a moment here.
Okay.
Madam Chair, for the earlier, who supported Joe as a motion maker? Who was the second?
There isn't one. He hasn't made it yet.
No, I mean for the legal action report.
The legal action report. I'm sorry. It was Savannah.
Okay, thank you.
So Joel and Savannah.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yep.
Okay. All right. On the matter of item 3A SD 0124-00100 800 North Country Club, I recommend approval of the project as presented with the following conditions. 1, that the courtyard landscape should come back as a minor review. And 2, a barrier should be placed around the column base to allow for reversal of the impacts caused by the new concrete ramp in the future.
Okay, before we second it, is it 1024? That's what I have on my agenda. I thought you said 0124 or something like that. Should be-
1024.
Okay, great. So we have the correct one. Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it. Yeah, this is Joel.
Okay. Is there further discussion? Okay, if not, Terry says aye. Andrew,
Aye.
Joel,
Yes.
and Savannah recuses. So it passes 3-0. So thank you, Charles.
thank you guys very much.
Yeah, and let's move on then to case 3B, which is SD 0325-00033 at 800 North Country Club. And this is also for the Benedictine Monastery, La Rosa New Restaurant. Full review, Sam Hughes, National Historic District, contributing resource rehabilitation standards. And Michael, do you have background?
The background is basically the same, Madam Chair, because when Charles first came to you for a courtesy review, he was doing the courtesy review presentation for both the chapel and the for the chapel use and also the restaurant. But subsequently, when he came on October the 10th, he focused just on the chapel. So today he's focusing on the restaurant, which had not been discussed detailedly before. That's all I can say. Unless I'm presenting it differently, Charles, you can correct me.
That is accurate. Yep.
Go ahead, Charles.
Sure.
I think you still have control.
Yep. Great. So thank you guys again, of course. And so what we were just talking about, obviously, probably goes without saying, is this building over here, the chapel building. And so now we're going to shift our attention over to the tenant space within the new building that was constructed in 2020, 2021, also by PMM. It has been a vacant shell space for the duration of that time. And so we are now looking at developing it into a restaurant. The restaurant is associated with the same ownership as the La Rosa Performing Arts Center. Just, I don't know if that really is of consequence to anyone other than maybe personal interest. As I stated, this building was constructed in the early 2020s of this century. And so we are looking at it as a result of its proximity to the historic landmark. The landmark boundary is, the project actually sits outside of the landmark boundary. So you can see the landmark boundary here in yellow, and the project that we are proposing as part of this presentation here in blue. So just as a bit of additional detail here, here is the performance center and the restaurant, and this is the site that exists between them, which will be left primarily intact with a few exceptions I will describe here, which I suspect may be sort of the most interesting part of the work that we have. So just going through my presentation here, this is the documentation for the PAD and the historic landmark documentation for the monastery site. I don't think that there is much of a reason to really delve into the content of the landmark, other than it's described, you know, the monastery exterior and landmark boundary are described in the development standards table that's part of that landmark there.
When was that picture of the monastery taken that you began with? Do you know?
This one here?
The picture, yeah, yeah.
Oh, or this one?
No, the next one.
Oh, the black and white?
The black and white, yeah,
Yeah, this was,
If you know.
I would guess probably 1940, roughly.
Oh, wow, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
good, thanks.
Yep. The sort of an anecdote is maybe a little bit later. I'd need to go. Yeah, I think that's about right when it opened. So I would say 1940 is about right. The baldacchino that's within the chapel currently was delayed by World War II, and so it couldn't be installed. So it sort of makes it easy to remember the dates on this particular one. So I just included, you know, this is what the building was that is the landmark here, which is not the building that we were talking about, just for sort of background reference. And then here again is another, just for reference, historic photo, sort of circa that time, where we can see that there wasn't much around. So, and here's the actual construction. So, but so here's the equivalent version of that, which is our 2020 drawings of the shell space. And so you can see here, the area in question is everything that is south of this line that I've just drawn here, restaurant unit 110 and associated dining patio, as well as a little bit of this area right here. So moving forward, I'll take a look at some of the buildings. So we took a look at this, but this is the patio that we're going to see. It is covered by this masonry colonnade here. And here is an image of that looking west, an image of the primary area of modification of the exterior of the building looking north, and then some interior shots of the building, this one looking towards the monastery chapel itself through the glass, and then another one looking a little bit further to the west through the same glass there. And then this we'll probably discuss in a moment is the area that we looked at, which is a breezeway between this portion of the building and the residential component of the building. So that would be, that photo is right here, looking that way. Adjust my earbud there. Okay, so starting with a few 3D views of the work that we propose. You can see here that we are predominantly leaving the major infrastructure of the building intact. And so this is primarily a TI of a unused space that we are now converting into this restaurant. So we're making use of the same patio. We're making minor modifications to the limits of the paving in this area. And then we're adding this small stair that you see here at the very front of this image here. One other item to talk about at the exterior is this element here, which is what we call breeze brick wall material. And it is semi-transparent, and I have an image of the sort of particulars of that material here. It is a terracotta brick brick type material, breeze block, but since it's of a brick format, we colloquially refer to it as a breeze brick. And so you can see sort of the limits of that there. And the purpose of this element is to separate the restaurant use from the residential use beyond. And so looking now at the site plan, here you can see the stair that we've added as well as a small amount of additional paving here. And then this red line shows the location of that breeze brick site element, used primarily to screen and sort of give a backing to this patio area here. So while we are outside, I'll go sort of back here. So you can see we are modifying the existing glazing of the building to include a new double door at this location. This double door is existing to remain. So we're primarily working on this glass facade here. We're adding a bar. So we're predominantly removing this glass and reinstalling a different storefront that has a bar with their pivoting, their upward pivoting windows that can open up so that it gives an indoor-outdoor connection between the bar and the patio. And then otherwise, the patio is essentially in the condition that was intended to be used when the building was originally designed, which was as a restaurant patio. The limits of it are just expanded slightly, and we've added this screening element here. Here is a sort of a three-dimensional view of that, which shows you the limits of the patio as well as the breeze brick element. And so that element is taller than the adjacent site walls, which are currently sort of minimal height as required to separate different grades, is sort of the existing design. So the only new element that we're looking at here is this piece here, and then a little bit of an extension of this fence. The remainder of this fence is extant currently. So that's the primary modification to the exterior of the building. I would maybe pause there. I can talk a little bit about the interior, and I can show sort of, elevational information here about exactly what we're talking about, and then sort of cross compare that to the current condition. But I would maybe pause here to ask if there are sort of any immediate questions or thoughts about what I've presented to date.
Andrew or Joel, do you have questions on this part? If you'd like to ask them now.
No, looks good to me so far.
So far, so good.
Okay,
Okay.
same with me. Go for it.
Great. So, it's going to be, I think, an exciting restaurant. I don't think I can share too much of it. It's a pizza concept, which is great because we are not required to put in a Type 1 hood. We're able to sort of do a minimal footprint of that, which is good. And so just to give a little bit of a tour here, you'll come in through either of these doors, sort of depending on your want, I suppose. And you're greeted with a bar as you come in, a service window here through which the food will be delivered out. And then what we call the conversation pit, which is developed here in the corner, which we think will be sort of a signature element for the restaurant, surrounded by a bit more seating. We are developing a restroom here within the tenant space. And then that same breeze brick element is actually installed all the way along this facade here, the breeze brick that exists outside. There's actually a tiny little bit of that inside the chapel as well to sort of tie it together. But this is that same breeze brick material that separates the dining area from the kitchen. The only other item that has an exterior impact on the building is actually that there was a requirement to add additional walk-in cooler space for the building. And so that is this area that is highlighted here in yellow. So currently, this breezeway that we looked at in photos before is the full width of this darker yellow that I'm now going to delete. And so now the pale yellow is what's coming in as a new built element in that space. And so I think you can see here in this view from this area that we are infilling that piece right there and just making that corridor breezeway a little bit narrower. for those folks over there. I guess I'll go back to the plan and I guess open it back up for questions. Obviously, this building itself is not a historic building, so I would just be happy to address any questions or comments you may have.
Yeah, and I
I don't
think
have-
we'd be looking at a trial for mostly compatibility and so forth. So, I'm sorry, Joel, did you say any questions?
Well, yeah, no, not really. Although there's some different aesthetic choices I might make, I don't see anything that's incompatible. You know what I mean? So I really don't have any comment, and would support this.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Andrew.
It all looks good to me. I do appreciate the terracotta breeze brick, tying that material into the, predominant roof material of the monastery. I think that's great. So looks good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
Great. Okay, and who is ready to make a motion on this case?
I can do it.
Okay, thank you, Andrew.
Already on item 3B on the matter of SD 0325000033 800 North Country Club, I recommend approval of the project as presented.
This is Joel. I'll second.
Excellent. Okay. Any discussion?
Nope.
Okay, if not, I'll call roll. Terry says aye. Andrew?
Aye.
Joel?
Aye.
Perfect. It passes 3-0. And I'm going to find Savannah, unless she's in the office with you, Charles.
She is not.
Okay,
So
I'm
she is.
her. Just give me 1 second. We'll just take a little breather. So you're good to go, Charles, unless you have questions about Michael, about the next steps.
No, well, actually, sure. I would assume that we're going to get well, actually, I'll just let Michael tell it.
Yeah, just send me an email if you need anything, Charles.
Okay, perfect. I would like to sincerely thank everyone for their time today. I really appreciate the review on these projects. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Charles, and thanks for the, succinct and clear presentation. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Of
thank
course.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, I have texted Savannah, and she will hopefully be back on. Look, that must be a young Charles there in that picture. On that screen.
Yes, at the Barcelona Pavilion, actually, in 2010.
Well, not young. I mean, you're still young, but you know what I mean. It's just a different look.
Yeah, that's true. To me, I look the same, but I suppose I a little grayer.
So, alrighty. Well, okay. So Savannah is. Hopefully, she's joining. Should I maybe call her? Do you think, folks? I'm gonna
Yeah.
go on mute just a second and yell at my dog for barking here. Hold on.
Is Savannah here? Back yet?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Michael, how are you, pal?
I am okay. I'm waiting
Good.
we do have some business inside next week. I'll need you to help me with some minor reviews.
I can, Michael. If you just call me or email me, either one, and I'll
Yes,
be
I will
glad
do.
to help you wherever yeah, sure.
Sorry, she's not responding. Let me triple check this number. 520-401-2. Oh, no, wrong one. Sorry. Ah,
It may
Oh,
be right.
I just got a chat from her. She just acknowledged that I told her to jump back on. So
oh, cool.
I think
Okay.
she's probably on her way.
Yeah, I mistyped her number. That was bad of me, so I'm sorry. Because I had it in my phone, but this dog. I'm closing the door now.
Right.
I have
She should be on in a moment. Yeah.
Co-host.
Hey.
I'm sorry, Michael, was that for me?
Yes, I just made you the co-host so
Oh,
that
thank
as soon as Savannah gets here, we do all the
I'm here.
presentations. Savannah is here at 1:39 p.m. Let's wait for the chair.
I'm so sorry. It's not really my dog. It's my daughter's dog. So we'll
Sure.
blame her. We'll blame her. But so it's just to join Joel's dogs that are usually barking when we talk.
Yeah. Mine are usually the ones.
Okay. Did we get Savannah back yet?
I'm
Yes,
here.
Madam Chair.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So let's say that Savannah rejoined at 1:38. Does that sound about right? Okay,
Sure.
hold on.
Michael said 139, but
1:39 is perfect. 1:39, Savannah returned. Okay, perfect. Case 3C is SD 1224 00129/TCRES 0424022101 at 901 North First Avenue. This is to remodel a pool cabana, laundry and ancillary storage, utility facility, new ADA pool entry, fence, new elevation treatment at stairway. It's a full review in the West University Historic Preservation Zone. It's a non-contributing resource. And we'll use the rehabilitation standards. And Michael, so I assume we're looking mostly at compatibility with nearby buildings?
That's correct, Madam Chair.
Okay, sounds
Um,
good. And any background?
This project, the applicant, the architect had gone to West University before as a courtesy review. West University reviewed it first, and then on February 11, the project was presented as a full review to the West University Historic Zone Advisory Board. In fact, they took less than 10 minutes to review the project. So they recommended approval of the project as presented. There were no conditions attached to this. So I think Ryan is just going to do the same presentation that he did before West University, and take note that even though West University did not put any condition, this body is a separate independent body that can recommend approval with some condition, can recommend denial, any of that. So please, when you are doing your presentation, just remember that you are presenting to a whole new independent body.
Michael, this is Joel. Can you give me the address again
For what?
for this
It's
project?
it's 901 North First Avenue.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
And did we get West University's notes, or did they have any discussion?
That's what I'm saying to you, that the recommended approval as presented.
Okay, but there's no minutes that we just
I
didn't see
thought-
any minutes with their discussion, right?
I thought I said it alongside. If I did not, that's my fault. I thought I did.
It was brief.
It's okay. It's okay. You can summarize, Ryan.
Yeah. So are we ready for Ryan to begin?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you are the co-host now, so you can go ahead.
Okay,
Great.
go for it.
And as always, thank you all for your time. We really appreciate your review and any comments that you may have. Can you all see my screen?
I can.
Great. So in short, just as a summation of what was already said, this is the Beachcomber Apartments, and it is a non-contributing structure. The proposal put forth before the board is essentially to remodel the exterior face of the building. And forgive me, let me zoom in a little bit. Remodel the exterior face of the building that's around my cursor right now. It's currently clad in white T111 essentially. And what we're essentially doing is reformatting the face, keeping the stairs in their exact configuration, keeping the form of the building in its exact configuration, including building height. And essentially, I'll just go to the rendering if I can zoom out. Bother. There we go. recladding that entire face with a corrugated metal skin that essentially slightly upgrades the face, but also pays homage to the fence that's across the alleyway. That's our neighbor to the
West.
west. Thank you. Forgive me, to the west.
That's okay.
As part of this project, the entryway is getting reconfigured from its current location. You can see it right here. It's still remaining as recessed. And then the interior, which is shown in plan, the interior currently is that face is basically concealing a series of washer and dryers and pool equipment, and then the pool beyond. What our proposal is to create an envelope for the laundry room, a small laundry room that's accessible and conditioned and actually has a suitable area for residents to do their laundry. And then create a small pool cabana that's again hidden from the outside by this massing wall for the pool and for the residents. There are a couple of doors that are going to occur on that front face, and I'll go back to that rendering. And those doors are going to be clad in the exact same corrugated material, and they're going to conceal service areas as well as pool equipment. So this face right here, we've created a kind of a striation of vertical members that kind of breaks up that entire face and essentially conceals the fact that we have a series of doors. So it doesn't appear to be a series of doors, but appears to be, you know, an aesthetic feature of the facade. As I mentioned, here's the existing elevation. The new elevation is going to be matching existing elevation. There's no changes in height. There's no expansion of square footage. It's simply a refacing of that front facade in that new material. And then the program beyond is obviously updating according to the owners and the residents' needs. I don't want to belabor a relatively simple project, but I think that's the vast majority of it. And like I said, any comments or questions are welcome.
Okay, who would like to begin?
Terry, this is Joel.
Go ahead, Joel.
So I've got a couple questions. One is, well, one is truly an informational question. On the front of the building, there's a mural that faces First Avenue, and in this, I don't know if it's covered in this review, but I'm wondering if the mural is signage or whether this committee has any jurisdiction to comment on it. That would be a Michael or Terry question, or if it's been gone through a review process, which might be Mr. Rapucci's question.
For me, I can't speak to the mural. I don't know when that was placed on the building and if it had gone through any review process. I'd have to go back through the historical photos, potentially on Google, just to understand from a street view maybe where that occurred. But I think
I
that's
can narrow your search to it within the past 2 years. It was, I think the building was repainted and it was painted on top of that. And so my question is whether, and I don't know, it's arguably just the name of the place. It's a scene of a beachcomber, huge, with a surfboard and the name of the company or the place, and it looks like signage to me, but you know, I'm a mural lover too, so it could be a mural of a, you know.
So I don't recall, I mean, we never reviewed a case having to do with that, Michael, have we?
No, Madam Chair. I mean, if the subcommittee is interested, I can find out from a sign section whether that is actually considered a sign, a mural, or what it is, to determine whether it actually would have required review or not.
Yeah, and that would be helpful to know, just, and Michael can report on that. And if needed, I suppose, could there be a minor review on site if it was needed?
If needed, yes, we can do it. Most of the signs we do them as minor reviews. So if needed, we can do it as a minor review.
Well, that's a good question. So if everyone agrees on PRS, then that could be added to the motion that if needed, the mural / signage should come back for a minor review or whatever. But okay, any other questions, Joel?
Yeah, so also to the north side of the proposed resurfacing, which by the way is a great idea. And I want to, am I pronouncing your name right,
nailed
Ryan,
it.
Mr.
You
Rapucci?
nailed it. Rapucci, you nailed it.
Okay, good.
I've gotten a lot.
So it's an excellent use of materials and it does really fit in with the neighborhood. I actually own a little spot on Jacobus there right across. There's a picture of it somewhere in your materials. So I'm there a lot. Does this project cover any how shall I say it, protections about the garbage that is back there, the garbage containers?
No, it's so we're strictly reserving the scope to just this face and then beyond what's the interior. So understanding that there is a garbage container that's located back there.
Yeah.
And I'll just say this, I guess plainly, the hesitancy for me to get into anything related to the trash is the city of Tucson's requirement that the second that we touch it, there's a lot more that goes into it. So we didn't necessarily look at that or the kind of outbuilding that's located. Let's see, I think it's in some of the photographs.
So there's a lot of
It-
garbage associated with the trash from the city of Tucson, huh? I get it. I'm
Well,
just
no,
saying
no.
as a neighborhood resident, I just wondered if that was in the plans because it really is
So-
actually like a problem, but I don't know if it's subject to this
So,
review.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, let's limit this to the scope of work that is before you today. The trash
That's fair
pickup
enough.
and all that associated to those are zoning issues that if there are issues, zoning will have to deal with it. Zoning will have to do comments on that. There will be requirements for those type of things. It is not one of the issues that is before the subcommittee today.
Fair enough, Michael. That was my question. Okay, good, thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
Andrew, do you have anything, Andrew?
In terms of the scope of this project, no, it all looks good to me. I was zooming around Street View, just looking at that mural that Joel pointed out, and I noticed that the windows were all replaced at some point too in like 2022, which I'm sure wasn't, you don't have knowledge of that or anything, but just wanted to flag that for Michael possibly too. I don't see any reviews or any permit activity for that. But in terms of this scope, this review, no comments. It looks good.
Thank you.
Okay, so would one of you like to make a motion with the addition that if needed to come back for a minor review for the mural?
Terry, I'd make the motion, but I don't have the numbers, right in front of me. If you can give me the numbers, I'll do it. Joel.
I apologize. Could I ask a quick question about the
Sure.
included motion? And just for, speaking on the client's behalf, they're anticipating trying to get construction started as soon as, the various boards and the city of Tucson pass off on it. And just for my own edification, will the mural potentially and that review impact this project moving forward, or is that a separate agenda item?
Well, it's separate. Michael has to talk to the sign code people to see if this requires historic review, because a lot of signage does, especially if it's considered like the signage for the property. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so it would be a separate thing, and they're conducted it's not a full group like this. It would be one person plus Michael and yourself probably, right, Michael?
That's
And
correct, Madam Chair.
someone from the West University Historic Zone Advisory Board. So these happen very quickly. We do multiple ones every month, and it can be either virtual or in person.
And
So
And I appreciate that. And just out of curiosity, just so that I can provide information that's clear and honest to the client. I mean, worst case scenario, would we be looking at some sort of modification of the elevation, whether it's painting it or having to go through a sign review to approve it? I know that there's a difference between a mural and a sign, and that obviously would be decided on that. But would there be a possibility that the owner would potentially have to paint that over if it wasn't?
I couldn't tell you. I've never seen it. So
Oh, okay.
So at this point in time, right, I don't think that, and I know it shouldn't disturb your project from moving forward. That is a whole different process, which can be done without impacting what you are doing on this project. So it should have
Right.
no
That's
way
understandable.
to delay your project in a way or form.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that.
sure. Okay, so who wants to make the motion then? I'm sorry, where are we with this?
Well, I'll make it if you'll give me the numbers of the project. I don't have
It's
the,
really long. I mean, I can't really give you that. Well,
Okay.
one of the
Oh.
other people.
I'll do
Sorry.
it, Terry.
Do we
Thank
want to
you.
add anything about the windows being replaced without a permit?
Maybe
I-
check out what. Go ahead, Savannah.
Well, if that has nothing to do with this project, I don't want to muddy the water. I don't.
Yes,
Right.
please,
That's true.
let's stay
That's
within
true.
the scope. Let's stay within the scope of work that is presented before you.
Yeah, you're right.
And does that apply to the mural too?
That should apply to the bureau too.
Okay, then I feel like I should say nothing about that.
Yes, you shouldn't. And
Okay,
I've taken note of that, and I'm going to follow up on that.
Okay.
If there's anything to that effect, we'll deal with it after. That's not before you today.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, this is kind of unusual though that it's got these things going on that we're not seeing. So, okay. All right, go ahead, Savannah.
All right, on the matter of SD-122-00129/TC-RES-0424-02101 at 901 North First Avenue, I move to recommend approval of the project as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Andrew?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Is there any further discussion?
yeah, Terry, this is Joe. I'd just like to just sort of comment. I don't see myself as anybody who goes around the neighborhood like reporting stuff. I never do. I've never done it. It's just that these issues came up in association with an address, and that's why I brought it up. I'm not trying to, do anything more than, I just happen to live right here, so that's the only reason I brought it up. And
Oh,
I
no
do
worries.
like the project that's presented. The metal's great. It does match the fence right across the street. So in those terms, I mean, this project probably should go forward. But I also think those other issues need to be addressed. But I'll vote yes on this one.
Okay, all right. So, if there are no other comments, I'll go ahead and call roll. Terry votes aye. Savannah,
Aye.
Joel,
Aye.
Andrew.
Aye.
Great. This one passes 4-0. And thank you very much.
Thank you all for your time. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good
man.
luck with the project.
Thank you. Take care.
Mhm. Michael, what company does Ryan work for? Do you know?
Yeah, he works for RAS Architects LLC.
Okay, and you'll include that in the LAR, correct?
I will do, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank
All right. Our last case is 3D, and that is SD 0524-00049 / TC-RES-0424-02101 at 901 North 3rd Street. This is for a bathroom addition, conversion of an existing storage to an accessory dwelling unit, ADU. It's a full review in the West University Historic Preservation Zone, contributing resource, and we use the rehabilitation standards. Michael, could you give us background, especially what West University said, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. This project went before West University on January 14, 2025. The same plans that are provided you are the same plans that was reviewed by West University. In their review, they recommended approval as presented with the following amendments. That it should reduce the setbacks on the north and the west side. That the reduced setback on the north and the west side are recommended for approval. That the east elevation keynote shall be updated to reflect existing window and door and materials. And that 3, on the narrative, the applicant was asked to clarify the narrative to reflect the material being wood and the removal of the clerestory windows. Those were the 3 items that West University recommended, and it passed by a vote of 6-0.
Is there a way we can get a copy of that, Michael? Can you send
Sure.
that?
I thought I sent it out. I'm very sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Just email real
And-
quick too, so.
Sure.
And while he's doing that, Madam Chair, I'm not sure whether I think I heard you say it's 901 North 3rd Street. It'd probably be 3rd Avenue.
3rd Avenue, you're right, correct, it's Avenue.
It's 3rd Avenue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I just thought I heard her say 3rd Street. Sorry.
Oh, I may have said street because I could have.
Mhm.
So
It's
do
coming
you
in our
want,
email.
yeah,
I
Yeah, I
will
just
send
wanted
it-
it as a starting point, but you guys can go ahead and present.
yeah, go
I will
ahead.
send it.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
Thanks.
Okay, and who's presenting?
Oh, let me make you the co-host so you can start presenting why I sent this thing to.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I see the option to share. Thank you, everyone. Hi, Savannah. Hi, Charles.
Hi,
Hi,
Shay.
everybody. Thank you for having me. Thank you for your time. Hoping we can get through this pretty quickly. We, as Michael said, I presented already to the West University neighborhood. We had a few just mostly clarifications. And now I'm hoping to present to you all. Let me find the file. I thought I had it right here. Hold on. Okay. All right, let me see if I can share this now. Here we go. Okay. Can you all see this? Is it full screen for you?
No, not yet.
Coming.
Okay, let me change the view.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay, is it showing full screen on your side? Because on mine it's not.
No.
Okay, let me change this then. Okay, there. Is that better?
You know what? Maybe you just, yeah, that's fine.
Looks good.
Is it-
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this project was an existing shed structure that the homeowner had started to kind of work on and had some drywall and some improvements, windows and doors. But they want to convert it to an ADU, so it's a fully permitted secondary dwelling. And we needed to add a bathroom and a kitchen. And then there's a few other changes to the existing structure. Yeah, the existing storage unit was had kind of that cheap TI wood siding on it. So we're gonna completely improve the exterior envelope to meet the building energy code, add stucco to the exterior. And then we'll add this porch and bathroom. Those are the additions. So it's an addition and remodel combo. We're remodeling the existing structure to bring it up to code as a dwelling unit, and then adding on to it as well, which will all be, brand new construction. So that's kind of in a nutshell. And then there's some site improvements. We're adding a fence the rendering isn't showing it correctly here, but we're adding a fence that'll match the historic conditions. And, you know, some landscape. So here's the existing, and also this accessory structure, the shed is not a contributing property. It's not listed. However, the primary residence is a contributing structure in West University. So this is the front facade of that existing historic primary structure. It's reflective of the Queen Anne Revival style, has a complex roof, ridge vents, you know, some nice details. The design, in general, we're trying to keep, you know, the new improvements consistent with the existing structure, as well as other accessory structures that we see in the neighborhood. So again, the primary materials will be exterior stucco, wood porch with exposed wood joist eave ends, corrugated metal roof at the porch, and single hung windows for the window style, and those will be wood as required by the historic review committee. The height is gonna stay the same. The existing structures, we're not really adding any more height to the structure. The existing structure is around 18'5", and the existing storage shed, the highest point is 10'1". So there's no real change there. The main thing we're requesting here is on the setbacks. The existing shed, you can see here, is tucked right up against the property line. And so we're non-conforming, but we're not going to move the building, so we're just kind of, you know, stuck with those existing conditions. So we're requesting a setback variance here at the north and west sides of the property line, as Michael already outlined. And that was approved by WUSA. And yeah, we're hoping to get it approved here as well. Okay, so oops. Yeah, and the proportions, again, we're not really changing much. The addition, I think, is compatible with what you see in the rest of the neighborhood, and the accessory structure is less than 50% of the area of the primary residence. Has a shallow porch, I think that's 6 feet deep, which is also compatible with other accessory structure porches we see. The roof type, it's we're keeping the same language, a shed roof, and then just adding a shed addition in the opposite direction for the addition. Surface texture, exterior stucco will match. Yeah, it'll match the texture of the existing. Yeah, the site, we're keeping everything the same. This came up in our last review, except there's an existing carport that we'll be getting rid of. But other than that, you know, the parking and everything will stay the same. Yeah, the details, we're trying to, again, just be compatible with the existing primary residence. Okay. So here's the site plan. I don't know if I can blow this up more. The existing shed, like I said, is here in this west corner, and the primary residence is here in the southeast corner. There's a parking area here And the existing shed is in the rear of the property. The address is on North 9th, which is running north-south. So I considered this street to be the primary street facade on the east side. Here is the existing elevations. The existing building, it's kind of hard to see with all the vegetation. And then the west side. Here's the existing shed. You can see it has it has an existing metal roof, and then this wood siding that'll all get replaced, and then this metal carport here that'll be removed. It was unpermitted, so we'll just move these, tear down these existing shade structures. Here's the subject property and the development zone. We're right at the corner of 2nd and 3rd Avenue. And then here's some precedents of some existing accessory structures in the area. You can see the corrugated roofing, porches, single hung windows in general. And then there's a combo of shed structures or shed roofs or gable roof lines. And then here's some precedents of the fencing. We're gonna match this steel picket fencing that you see in the rest of the neighborhood. And here's the detail of that. Here's the existing elevations for that shed. It already had, you know, a few windows and doors. And existing mini split. So now we're gonna add on this porch structure. Add some windows, and then we're removing those clerestory windows. We just didn't have the height to keep them and get the height we need for the new addition. And it would have been difficult to detail that with, yeah, just the clearances. We just didn't have enough room. Here's more of a rendered elevation. We're hoping to do like a brown stucco for the walls and a lighter beige color for the roof and porch elements. Here's a landscape detail showing new swales and landscaping, and a berm that'll be a stabilized DG path that'll be all accessible, and a gate from that parking area. And that fencing will be that detail shown. The security was important to the homeowner. And then these details we agreed we didn't really need because these are primary residences. And here's the historic property inventory form. So that's it for me. Was there any questions?
Okay, well, thank you. We'll just go through and see who would like to begin with questions.
I'll start.
Okay, thank you, Selena.
Savannah, did you get the early arrow from?
I did. Thank you, Michael.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that.
Sorry for not adding it to the material.
It's okay. Okay, so we got a fence. We saw the fence detail. I'm assuming is the gate will look just like the fence detail.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yes.
then is it just along that one edge, or does it jog around, connect up with
Yeah,
another fence, or?
Yeah,
can't
it'll
tell.
be just on this south run. There's an existing fence here already on the west side.
Okay. Is that a similar fence already, or what
No,
does that
it's
look like?
It's not, it looks, that's why it looks actually like this rendering. It's a steel fence that's there with perf metal screen. So I had matched the
Oh.
existing fencing, but that's already there and in place, so I don't know. I'm not sure if you can kind of see it here too. She has the same language here on the this is the north side of the property. That's all kind of around the site. She has the historic fencing here on the primary facade here on the east, which is what will match. But in other places, she's using this other fencing language, which I don't know. I don't know that that was approved or not approved. I don't really have any history of that.
I mean, I think you're taking the right approach for the ADU having a more open facade with the picket fence.
Yeah.
The north and west side reduced setbacks. Of course, I'll let my fellow commissioners comment too, but that seems fine to me. There was a comment from West University that the east elevation keynotes update to reflect existing window, door, and materials. Can you explain that a little better, why they made that notion? They just wanted to see revised keynotes?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think in some of we had originally proposed vinyl windows, and I think when I revised the drawings, I didn't pick that up in a few locations that were changing from vinyl to.
Oh,
So it's just a typo
okay.
that needs to be corrected in some places. I think in the narrative they mentioned it, and then maybe here in these keynotes. Let me see here. Yeah, I changed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I changed it here. I think it was in the narrative where they thought that maybe I had in
Yeah.
here somewhere.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
on the
okay.
narrative.
Yeah.
So they want, yeah, they say clarify narrative to reflect wood and removal of
Yeah.
the clear story.
Yes.
And then the east elevation to reflect the existing window. So you're keeping that east window?
Yes. So here, here on this existing as-built elevation, this door and window are existing. So I just need to add some notes just explaining that we're keeping those existing to remain.
Oh, the door too. Okay. Okay.
And then here I could clarify too, like these clear story windows are gonna get demoed. These two little windows on the west will get demoed. And then this door is basically remaining in place. She can I think we're just keeping that existing in place as well.
And what is that existing door? Is it a wood door?
They're all wood, yeah.
Oh, they're all wood.
Yeah. Mhm.
Even the existing window is wood that you're keeping?
Yes, I believe so. I think I have a photo of that somewhere. Oh, I don't know. That one might. It's right there. You can see that little square here. That might be vinyl. But that's an easy fix. We'll just clarify that we'll change that to wood.
That's on the east?
Yeah. The
You
primary
can-
facade is on the south, the streets that faces
Yeah.
second.
So on the setback on the north and east, are you suggesting to leave the existing 0 setback?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Michael, please?
What is your request for the setback? What are you asking? They just say it should be approved. What is the figure for that?
Yes, so let me go. I think I explained it here. So the setback from the street should be 20 feet, which we meet. Yeah, maybe the site plan, if I can blow that up, it shows it more clearly. Let's see. Yeah, so the setback should have been 6 feet at the north side. We're requesting the reduction to 3'4" on the north side from 6 feet, which would have been what's allowable. And on the east side, it would have been 6.5 6-foot setback and we're requesting a reduction to 2 feet 1.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, are
I
you
think-
good,
I
Shannon?
think so. I think possibly replace, I mean, the comment might be to replace that in addition to West University's, cleanup notes, really, it would be maybe the replacing that one window to be wood, but the last question I had was on the north elevation, there's mechanical equipment. Is that just existing to remain as well?
Yes, that's also,
Okay.
there's an existing, like I said, the homeowners kind of already using this as semi-interior space. They had already added that mini split, so that's also existing to remain. I
Okay.
can add those notes as well and make it more clear.
Okay, that's it for me. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Andrew or Joel?
Sure, yeah, I can go. I think that window noting that to be replaced with wood is good. Everything else looks great. Are you doing any separate utilities for this project, or is it being like the electric, for instance, is it being fed off the main house?
That's yes. So we went with the ADU option as opposed to so we went with the ADU option so she could get a separate address and she could tie into the existing utilities. We're trying to save some money there.
Gotcha. Okay. And then the only other thing I caught, you mentioned that the stucco was going to match the existing house. And I think you probably don't have to do that. It could be different. Normally, like when there's
Okay.
additions or anything to historic structures, we actually do like to see a distinction between them.
Okay.
So I know it's maybe not the most attractive stucco texture. So if you want to go with something smoother or sand finish or whatever, I think you're fine to do that. So
Yeah, I think it's pretty chunky. It's
yeah.
it's a pretty chunky texture.
Yeah, it's almost like I think they call it like Spanish lace or something. It's
Ooh,
so
yeah.
Mhm.
yeah. So if you want to do something different, go for it. But
Okay.
the project looks great. So that's all my
Okay.
comments.
Okay, Joel? Joel, are you
I
good?
agree. Yeah, I'm sorry, I was on mute. So I agree with the setback question and answer that Savannah presented. I think those are just fine. And I agree with Andrew about the stucco. The stucco is all over West University. It's hard to repeat and really expensive. So I agree with Andrew on that one. Can you just offhand, can you tell if you know it, what will be the square footage of this unit when it's done?
Yes. Let me go back to the site plan. I think I called it out there. When all is said and done, it was a 12 by 28 structure.
12 by 28. Okay.
But then we're adding on as well. So let me see. I think I have the square footage listed here. Yes. Sorry, this is so tiny.
Yeah, I just couldn't see it, I
Yes,
guess.
it's the existing, it's gonna be 392 plus 81. So what is that? Hold on.
392. I'll do the math plus
Okay,
81.
thanks.
Okay, good. And also just an interest question. I mean, again, my dog visits the dog at that house nearly every day.
Yes, are you friends with Teresa?
Yeah.
We're
So,
all-
why is the only reason for removal of the shade parking is just that it wasn't coded, done by a permit or?
Yes, it came up during our last review. I don't want that to hold up the process. We would need a DDO and we're already past a year ongoing for this project in permitting. So
Oh, good. Well, good. Then we'll move. I'll vote to move forward. I just was
No,
curious.
I don't want that.
You don't need a DDO. In
Really?
HPC, the historic review process can waive the setback, so you really don't need to do a DDO. Are you in the process of a DDO?
Have I been through the DDO? Yes.
No, oh,
Why would they let you do that?
I mean, I have been through DDOs before in the past,
No,
not
no, I
with,
mean for no. I mean for this project.
for this project, no, we haven't.
Oh, okay.
And but that was
Okay.
the comment last time. That's why we
No,
decided.
okay. The history review process is the only process within the code that allows that can waive setback. And so that prevents you are not going to go through two processes. You don't do the history review process and do the DDO. The DDO are for projects that are outside the historic preservation zone. For this particular project, that is why I'm asking you about the setback. When the director is doing the final approval letter, those setbacks will be listed as part of the decision letter. So you don't need to do a DDO for this one.
Right. But I think just to simplify the project, I think we just want to show it as removed. I haven't done the analysis.
Fair enough. I mean,
whether
that's your, yeah.
we're meeting the setbacks and this, honestly, in the site plan, I didn't show that carport because I assumed we were taking it down. Again, I just didn't want to complicate the project and have to request another variance request for that. Like I said, I don't even have the analysis here as to what would be required for that carport in terms of setbacks. So I just, yeah,
Do you know when that carport was constructed?
sometime within the last 7 to 10 years, I believe. It's showing up
Okay,
on the
Never-
aerial photos. Yeah.
never mind.
Yeah, it's not historic. It was something that was put up relatively quickly and without permits, and I just didn't want to, like I said, complicate this, let those little structures stop this larger project from moving forward.
Okay.
And that's been an issue for me on other projects as well. So yeah, we just want to get this approved as quickly as possible.
okay. So if there are no other questions, Andrew or Savannah, I think I saw you taking notes. Is that true? One of you is going to vie for motion making?
I can do it. Can I check it with you all first?
Please do.
It's trying to be coordinated with West University. So reduce setbacks in the north and west as existing and as presented are acceptable. Keynotes to be updated to reflect existing east door. Existing east window to be replaced with wood. Clarify narrative to match proposed elevations, including removal of the clerestory windows. And then Andrew, maybe help me with this last one. Stucco finish may be sand or other. It does not have to match the primary residence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question, was there something else in the narrative? There was something about the windows, not just the door, right? Read that to me again. What you had to do.
Remove the comment about the window because we're actually changing that to be, it should be a replacement.
Oh, got it. Okay, now I understand. Thank
So
you.
that's the one piece that's a little different since it's vinyl.
Yeah. Okay, so is everyone else okay with Savannah's motion? Is she ready to go for it?
Sounds good.
Yep.
Okay, thank you,
Excellent.
Savannah. And you'll email that to Michael and me, please?
Sure, yeah, of course. All right, on the matter of SD-0524-00049/TC-RES-0424-02101 at 901 North 3rd Avenue, I move to recommend approval of the project as presented with the following conditions or notes: that the reduced setbacks on the north and west side as existing and as presented are acceptable. Keynotes are to be updated to reflect existing east door. The existing east window is to be replaced with wood. The narrative to be clarified to match to match proposed elevations, including removal of the clerestory windows. And the stucco finish may be sand or other. It does not have to match the primary residence.
I'll second.
Okay, and Andrew seconds. Is there any further discussion? Okay, if not, I'll call roll. Terry votes aye. Andrew?
Aye.
Joel?
Yes,
Savannah.
Aye.
Perfect. It passes 4-0. And do we need to discuss the next steps here, or Michael, do you want to summarize? Or Shariah, are you good with, or do you know what the next steps are?
No, next steps would be great for me. Yeah, this is
Okay,
one of my,
so based, I will take the recommendation from West University and the recommendation today to the director. The director is going to make a final decision. A decision notice will be issued and it will be sent to you. You will include that decision letter into your permit application to get a permit. The director's decision will normally come with conditions, and most of the conditions are likely going to be conditions imposed by West University, recommended by West University, and also the conditions that you are hearing today. The director may choose to take all of those, or the director can set aside all those conditions and give different set of conditions. More generally, the director goes by what is recommended by the two bodies. And then once the approval letter is sent out, if for some reason you do not agree with what the director has decided, there is an appeal period, which is a 14-day appeal period from the date of the signature of the decision letter, in which you, as an applicant, can appeal, the advisory board can appeal, plans review can appeal. So if you have to appeal, you need to declare your intent to appeal within 14 days. That intent to appeal is sent to the city clerk and a copy sent to Planning and Development Services. It comes with fees. There are fees associated with the appeal. The appeal to the director's decision is heard by mayor and council. If after the 14 days there's no appeal, nobody requests to appeal the decision, then you can proceed with your project. If there is somebody who wants to appeal, that stays anything else. That means a permit cannot be issued. You have to wait until the appeal is resolved by mayor and council. And within this time, feel free to contact me or any member of our historic team for any guidance that you may need.
okay. And then at what point do I make the revisions based on, so after the recommendation?
After today, you're more than welcome to start considering the revision. My suggestion to you would be to, when you get the final legal action report from today, you can compare the conditions that are mentioned today and those of West University, and then you can make the revision to your plans and submit the revised plans. The director makes the decision based on the final plans.
Okay.
And most of the conditions would, as I said, will be typically those from West University and those from here.
Okay, great. So yes, can you also send me the notes from both of those meetings? That would be really helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Please.
And question for you, Shariah. Are you with Quadro? Is that where your
Yes.
current firm is? Okay. And it usually takes a little bit less than a week to get the minutes done, wouldn't you say, Michael?
I
I
will
don't
do so,
know.
Madam Chair.
Yeah, and we try to get them out as quickly as possible and posted. So just so you know.
Okay, so once I get those notes, I'll revise my drawing and then re-upload to the portal. Is that
That's
how?
correct. That's
Okay.
correct.
And then from there, then I get the final decision.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Well, good luck with the project and thank you. And all right, so we'll move on then to item 4, which is Task Force and Inclusivity Report Recommendations. 4A is discussion on best practices for naming of city and county owned physical assets. No report.
No
Item-
report.
Yeah, and item 5 is current issues for information discussion. 5A is minor reviews, please. Michael?
Yes, Madam Chair. Minor reviews. I have been busy here. Since we met the last time, we have done a couple of minor reviews, and Andrew has been very helpful in this process within this time. We have minor reviews completed. 202 East University. That one was for a roof. 720 North 6th Avenue for a roof in West University. 941 North 6th Avenue for a roof in West University. We had 641 South Maya for a roof in the barrio. 326 West 18 for solar panels in the barrio. And 510 West 17 for solar panels in the barrio. Those are the ones that have been completed since our last meeting.
Okay.
I have some new ones that are coming up, and Commissioner Ireland has offered to these ones that are mentioned about that have been completed. Andrew actually helped us as the representative for PRS on this one. These new ones that I am looking forward to doing them sometime next week. Joy had offered that he will be of help, so he will be representing Plans Review Subcommittee. We have 320 East Speedway in West University for a fence. We have 848 North 3rd Avenue in West University for a roof. We have 515 East First Street in West University for a roof. And then we have 479 South Convent Avenue in the barrio for a roof. And then we have 419 South 5th Avenue in Amory Park for a roof. Those are the pending reviews that I have. I will contact you, Joe, and then we'll see how many of them we can get done before the next meeting.
Good. I'm pretty much available all week, so good deal.
Great. Thank you, both of you. Okay, 5B appeals.
We do not have any pending appeals, Madam Chair.
5C zoning violations.
As usual, we continue to work on those violations, and we bring them to you as soon as they're ready. There is one in particular which I want to mention. I mentioned last time 717 North 7th Avenue, which is a stucco issue that was asked not to be stucco, but the owner applicant decided to stucco it, so it's going through SHPO review and PDSD review. At this point in time, they have to go back to West University. They're going back to West University on April the 8th, and they will be before PRS on April 27th.
Okay.
That is what I have for now under zoning violation.
Okay, 5D review process issues. Does anyone have anything they want to share? Sorry, making a note here.
Yeah, wait.
ahead.
This is Joel. And it's kind of connected to the comments I made earlier on the one project. You know, I don't like to bring up stuff. That's not what I see my function as. But on issues like that mural on that thing, it's clearly, I'm fairly sure they didn't do a review, and it's clearly just a sign, you know, painted across their, you know, front of their building. So when would I bring up such a thing? Although again, I don't see my function as policing at all. You know, I don't know. Can you help me out here, Teresa?
Well, I think, you know, it's a good thing we brought it up, and then sometimes we notice things, and Michael will look into that and see. Also, I'm not as comfortable with this sort of carving out of what they're doing so they can avoid other things. I mean, I'm not sure that Mr. Rapucci knew any of, you know, the history of these other things. I mean,
Sure.
I don't know, and we probably we should talk more in generalities, but does that make sense? I mean,
Yeah, I hear you.
I think there's ways that we can communicate it that aren't while still, you know, in a different fashion and still stay on point. but if it's something, I mean, often we look at something that we want to change and we don't really know when something inappropriate had been put in, right?
Yeah,
Like, you'll ask questions, and so, I mean, I think we just do the best we can coming from multiple different directions. And you certainly have knowledge living there, and of more knowledge certainly than I would have. And in his review was not like we would normally see, like the whole building, or I'm not sure. My issue is that some of these reviews, I wish, Michael, that you had more time to, or I wish we could say this is the kind of review we want to see. And I think she did a good job on the last case, but I think it was drawn out because we didn't, just the way the presentation was made. So, but we still, drew her out with quite good questions. So anyway, anyone else want to comment on anything?
Just one thing, I guess. It's probably deep in our bylaws or something that I have to like leave the meeting full on instead of just if there's a case that's in conflict, is it possible I could just mute and turn my camera off? Like, do I actually
No.
have to leave the meeting? Is that like
No,
officially required?
No, you have to leave the meeting.
Yeah, and it's not really a commission preference
Yep.
or choice. It's
Yep.
it's basically conflict of interest statements and open meeting, all that stuff that
Yeah.
they're
So
really
it's not specific to this
no,
commission.
it's
every
everywhere. Right. And the fact that we're so careful about saying when you leave, when you return, it protects you as well.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, certainly. I mean, but I could just, this all gets posted. I could just watch it later on YouTube, right?
Yeah,
Like,
Oh
so,
yeah, you can watch it later on YouTube. Yeah, but the city attorney, we asked the same thing. Before, it used to be you can be on the plans review subcommittee like this, you could come and present and stuff like that. The city attorney said no. If there's a conflict of interest, even if it is a courtesy review that the subcommittee is not taking any action, you still cannot be in there once they're doing the review. You have to completely leave the hall.
okay.
Yeah. So we're just
Okay.
following what we're told to do. Please, sorry about that. So.
No, it's okay.
But
I
what
just
I try
figured.
to do is, if I know you are going to have a conflict, that's why I put it first for it, or we can put it last. So you just leave and leave. But
Yeah, it's fine. It's totally manageable. It's
Yeah,
just,
well, and then Joel was very kind about, we had this problem. He thought he had a meeting and then didn't. So, and that's why we're all geared up to do it a certain way. And I'm working with Ian and Courtney on Pima County specialist appointments. So, we should, for a while, we're going to have to operate with just 4. And I'm seeing what the city does. The city is a lot less cooperative on appropriate people to appoint, let's just say. And so, so we'll, and I had also mentioned that to Savannah and Joel that the 3 of us will also be on the county's plans review. And we'll talk about that later, but it will take almost none of your time up. And they have to meet once a quarter. And we don't want to mess with that because I want the city to agree that all of us need to stay on full plans review, because otherwise plans review would go away and it would just be Andrew. Andrew would be the
that
chair of
sounds
all the
good to
members.
me. I like that.
No,
I
We
so
don't want to do
move.
that to Andrew. Yeah, so anyway, anyone else have a review process? I always find it amazing how we connect everything to a review process issue.
I mean, to Joel's point, I guess there's, anyone can make like a complaint
Yeah.
to building enforcement, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we have like an established mechanism to do that when we do see things other than that, or just to ask Michael, but Michael has 3,000 things on his to-do list already. So, it is what it is. There's like the Windows thing really does bother me that just ripped out all the steel windows, and it's a Sacklar building. So that's unfortunate, but it is what it is, and I don't know.
So I
Oh,
would
well.
like to say that the way violations work in the city of Tucson, not just in the HPZ, is when you see something, you can report it. You don't need to identify yourself.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be afraid that maybe they will know you. You can remain, you don't need to give yourself, you don't need to identify yourself. Just report it. Or you can tell us, you can call the Historic Preservation Office if it's in the HPZ and let us know what is going on. And then we would be able to follow up from there. There are cases that have been reported directly to us. People don't want to be known as reporting, but they call us or they send us an email to say, hey, this is going on. And then we would get somebody out there. Maybe we'll get code enforcement involved. We just put a stop work order on one of the properties in West University that a notice was sent to us, and the people were continuously removing the roof from a contributing property, and that was actually a character defining feature of that property. And so we had to send code enforcement to go and put on a stop work order. When they put it in the morning before afternoon, they took it off and continued to do the work. So we had to send the inspector out again to make sure that there is one posted and photos taken so that we can know what to do. So if you don't feel comfortable reporting yourself, just send an email to us and then we can go from there.
Okay. Would that be just to, what would the email be?
You can
Just to
put
you?
it to, no, you
No.
don't have to send it to me directly. It's PDSD inquiries, historic
Okay.
inquiries, and then it will come to our office, and one of us, we look at it every day, so one of us will handle it.
Okay. Yeah. And Joel, I agree with you. I don't want to be like a snitch and going around for every little thing. I think my guilt around that is less when it's like an apartment owned by a venture capital firm than like a single family home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's up to your own conscience, I guess, whatever you want to report or
Mhm.
not.
Yeah, and then I'll just, we'll talk someday about that whole thing. Good deal. I was
Okay.
interested in your window comment, so good deal. All right, thank you guys very much for that.
Okay. Anyone else on review process? Okay, if not, let's move on to item 6, summary of public comments. Were any received by the deadline, Michael?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Item 7 is future agenda items for upcoming meetings. Our next meeting is March 27th. Is everyone planning on being here?
I am Joel.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And
Yep.
then for that March 27, we are likely going to have the Valley of the Moon, the Armory Park, and the Dunbar Building. Those 3 are sure to come before you.
I mean,
Dunbar is
go ahead.
Dunbar is PM. Well, I have to recuse it. Dunbar, because that's PMM. That's Charles again.
Dunbar
yes,
Pavilion.
yes. Yeah.
Okay,
So
let's do it. Do you like it in the front or do you like it at the end? I like it at the front.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have Dunbar, and then Armory Park. Is it the park itself?
Is a park itself.
Okay, let's try not to go beyond 3 on those because
I have them at 3. Madam Chair, to be honest with you, I've been asked to put this on the agenda.
these 3?
Yes, the 2, the Dunbar and the Armory Park. The director actually directed me to put them on the agenda.
Oh, interesting. Okay, and then Valley of the Moon is just the next one up that you're popping on there.
Yes, is the next one up.
Okay, so it'd be good to keep it to 3 if at all possible.
Yeah, I have them at 3. I had other projects to put, but I was asked to put these 2. So I took
well,
the other
today was
project.
good. Today was good because Charles's two were very succinct and quick. And you're pretty good at judging that. And so we always look at this to try to make it, I mean, you know, they would, probably Michael's bosses would make him put like 10 cases on, you know.
Yep.
So I try to fight that.
Yeah, I know. I've been using you to fight some of those fights because they will tell me to put this, and it's just, I had to take out like 2 other projects that were ready to go in order to get the Dunbar and the Henry Park. So, Savannah, do you want the Dunbar to come first or to come last?
First, yeah.
Okay, I will reverse. I had
Yeah,
put it
I like it first because then we have Savannah and her incisive mind on for the rest of the cases.
Okay,
And
I'll
she's
do
giving me the look.
I'll do
No, I
Um,
just was, yeah, it's all good.
And so sometimes like that's why we snuck 4 on this one to get ahead of something. But let me know, Michael, when you get this ready and send me
I'll send it to you by Monday or so. I should be able to send that to you. I have it almost ready. Even the early hour for today. You will get it no later than Monday.
Okay, sounds good. And I hope everyone, well, thank you all for today's meeting. And we're finished a little bit before 3. So if there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and adjourn at 2:51 p.m., which is what my computer says. And I wish you all good rest of the week.
Thanks.
you.
See you all
You
later.
too.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Yeah, bye-bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
I'm going to stop the recording.